Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another beautiful, amazing, wonderful episode of the Cafe One Pod, your favorite podcast. I always tell you this is your favorite podcast because I'm not known to tell lies. I tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. This is your favorite podcast, okay? Yeah. As usual, we have a guest that's going to tell us something fantastic, something amazing, something insightful about life and just doing life and being productive and being an all-round amazing person. Today we have none other than Samaila. Samaila, welcome to the Cafe One Pod.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're always happy to have guests. We love all our guests here. They're amazing people, superstars, nothing short of that.
And not a lie was told.
Exactly. See, he already gets it.
To tell lies.
He already gets it. I don't tell lies, guys. After Jesus is me.
Okay.
I'm not a liar.
We'll work with that.
What do you mean by work with that? Have you seen me lying anywhere?
Yes.
When? Where?
I'm not known to tell lies.
That's not a lie. You don't have proof. See,
okay.
You guys need to take my word for it. Why would I see me? Do I look at somebody that can lie?
No, you don't actually.
Exactly. So, Samaila, give us a quick introduction about who you are, what you do, for fun, for work, just anything that you think we should know.
Wow. Man, intros are like after listening to your intro, I think it's going to be very difficult storing that. But
or you can try.
I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try. So yeah, I'm Samaila. You've said the name multiple times. Okay, jokes apart. But yeah. Okay, so this is Samaila. I am the co-founder of SeedFi. SeedFi is a data and a digital lending company. Fresh out. We started, I think, a couple of months back, and we blinked twice, and it's been 14 months. So yeah, I'll try not to blink twice in the podcast, so the podcast doesn't last 14 months. I'm a middle child, so potential for chaos. For fun, what I like to do, to be honest, it really just depends. There are times where I just want to listen to music. There are times I don't want to listen to music. I just want to watch movies. Sometimes I don't want to watch movies. I want to go swimming. Sometimes I don't want to. So it just depends, really. I'm just a very spontaneous person.
You're a man of many parts.
Yeah, too many parts.
Too many parts.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. So you've mentioned that you are a co-founder of SeedFi.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit more about what SeedFi is? Do you want to tell us about your services, your offerings?
Absolutely. So SeedFi is a data and a digital lending company. One of the things we set out to do is lending properly. Not to shade anyone, but I think with, I'll say, our wide experience in the financial landscape, especially in Nigeria and I think generally Africa in itself, lending is mostly for a certain group of people. So there's like a bias when it comes to lending. One of the things we decided to do was create a lending system that is not biased, that any or everybody can just have access to financial capital. And I say that we're a data company. So I started with data before I went to digital lending company, right? Because I think one of the most important thing in life generally is data. Being able to also build lending architectures is one of the things. So again, we're a lending architecture company.
Okay.
And we are one of those lending architecture companies that we can hit our chest to say that we walk the walk. So because we lend, we know what we're selling. So yeah, that's just a summary of SeedFi.
Okay. So do you strictly teach financial concepts and stuff like that?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We do financial literacy programs.
Okay, great.
Every now and then. For and I know Nigeria is quite big and we can't be everywhere at the same time for financial literacy.
Yeah.
One of the things we also do on our social media pages is to just drop financial literacy topics about finance, about lending, about access to funding every now and then. So yeah, you can follow at the SeedFi, and you get to learn a thing or two.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So far navigating the Nigerian market, would you say that people have been receptive towards the products that you build, or you've built rather? The lending aspects, right? I feel like that one is a no-brainer. But the learning aspect is very important to me, because I want to know if people actually receive these learnings, or if it's something that you have to put in extra effort to get people to receive.
Okay, so learning, yes. It's I'll say, okay, so for lending, as you said, I mean, it's no brainer. There would always be a market for lending, right? And that's just one aspect. And the other aspect is with regards to financial inclusion, right? Teaching people about financial literacy. I would say it's a 50-50. There are people who are just really open towards learning. There are people who assume they know, but they do not know. And I think one of the things that we are trying to change significantly is the shame mindset, especially in Nigeria. As a friend of mine would say, one of the biggest things that Nigerians fear the most is embarrassment. And that's why, yes,
they?
now.
I don't think so.
Nigerians fear embarrassment, trust me.
Not the Nigerians I know.
You just maybe have not gotten, I think everyone has their, would I say breaking point, or everyone has their limit per se. But I think I genuinely just think that there's like a great shame mindset.
Okay.
When it comes to, I think that a lot of people find it quite embarrassing in admitting that they do not know certain things, and so they just rather keep carrying on. So I think in that part, I think one of the things that we also had to do was learn ourselves, try to learn as much as possible. Another reason why we say, again, we're a data company is that we also look at what people have done before. There's a reason why someone has worked the work before you. Look at the reasons and maybe some of the gaps and the experiences that they have faced. Also, with regards to the maybe lending architecture in itself, again, I think that's where maybe the, what's the word to use? Sometimes words fail me. I'll say maybe that's where the friction comes. And that's because, again, as I said, we blinked twice and
time went by.
And it was 14 months. My eyes are like this and I don't want to blink. So you're just there in 14 months and you're trying to tell people who are probably been in business for 20, 30, 40, even 50 years, right? Some financial institutions, and you're saying that, hey, this is a system that is better, right? The first thing everyone will tell you is, I've probably been in this like years before you. Do you understand?
We will tell you that their business is older than you.
Exactly. Some who were really open are significantly enjoying the fruits of working with SeedFi. For the others, I would say they'll come around in time.
That's fair enough. I think people need grace to warm up to something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they need some time. So with time, I guess everybody will understand. So what would you say has been like, what's the greatest shock that you've gotten so far working in this business? What do you think has shocked you the most?
People.
How so?
I think people are just generally very difficult to manage. I think the last place that I worked, if you didn't know that about me, I'm actually a Sterling alumni.
Oh, that's nice.
Before I started the SeedFi journey, I worked at Sterling. I think one of the biggest things that I learned is empathy and working with people.
Mm.
I didn't have that. So I think the biggest struggle that I always had was first doing things on my own, because you don't want to be let down, right? But trust me, like a lot of people will let you down. Not just even this is not even necessarily talking with regards to customers and stuff like that, but staff, employees. The truth is that everybody just has a completely maybe different vision than you
Even
are.
priority.
Yeah, as a founder. And I think that there's a point where you just have to accept that, you know what, not everybody would have as much commitment as I am going to.
Yeah.
Not every staff would give in 100%. So I think that the biggest challenge that I had faced most likely is people, whether be it customers, trust me.
What has been your craziest? No, don't worry. Finish your thoughts. I will get back to that question.
So yeah, I was going to say, like, it's been crazy. Both customers, internally, externally, people they've just been like ridiculous. Even getting to even manage other stakeholders is it's hard managing people. Yeah.
When I asked you that question, I thought that immediately you say, "Oh, funding." Or something. So hearing people was a shock to me.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I don't. So I think that when it comes to money, right? If you are doing something right, with time, money would come. So I guess we're doing something right. That's why people is number one on my list. One of the first things that I did was I used to. I think maybe, they say hindsight vision is usually 2020. I saw one of my supervisors a couple of months back. And the first thing I told her is, I miss you. And she was like, what? And I was like, to be honest, I miss having a supervisor, to be honest. Like someone I can just hide behind.
Now you are the supervisor.
And just be... just have those. Now I don't have off days. I don't have days where I can slack. I have to always give more. And yeah.
But do you enjoy it though? Or does it feel like a task?
50-50. Everything is going to be 50-50. 50-50 in the sense that there are days where I'm like, oh shit, I wish I didn't do this. Or I wish I didn't start this. There are also other days where I am extremely excited about what we're doing. So it just, I think, and I think I say this because I feel like every business person goes through this part. There are days where you just absolutely enjoy it. There are days that are off days. Yesterday was one of those days for me when I'm like, oh God, you want to just put your face in a pillow and scream. And then after, maybe you take a breather, you're like, isn't that bad? I love it. Let's go again. So, yeah.
Fair enough. That's great. So back to the question that I wanted to ask you earlier on.
You wanted to, you don't want to ask me again?
I'm still asking you. Okay. It's not going to leave this conversation. So what has been your craziest experience with a customer?
Okay. So for sake of drags, I'm not going to mention the particular location where the customer was from. But I think that the customer gave incomplete information. First is, I think one of the things we try to do is put up like a very airtight security system, in the sense that if Favor is the one using our application, Favor is the one who gets like 100% value. So this particular customer from a particular place with which I'm not going to mention used his wife's profile. And then at first we started getting emails, and we were responding to emails, complaints. And so imagine, for example, let's say Samaila sends you an email complaining, right? And you reach out to Samaila and you ask, oh, what's your name, right? and the person say, "Oh, my name is Samaila," right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first thing you're going to do is to go through your system and check
Yeah.
your DB. Yeah. So the customer calls his name, and then we go through, and we don't have such customer, right? And so I think it's just like a pickle. And you call your tech support, like, no, like we should have this customer.
Yeah.
And next thing you hear is, oh, it's not me. Oh, I'm applying for XYZ on behalf of my wife. And we're like, no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Like, your wife should be the one, right?
You wanted to put them asunder.
Do you
You said
understand?
what God has joined together.
Literally, what he said, and I quote, "We are one."
See, that's cute. Romance.
Well, turns out again, it was
They were not one.
Yeah, and then again, it was also a learning point for financial literacy, right? But then the guy was just not having it. Rammed me over the phone. And at the time we just started, so we didn't have so one of the things where as you're starting a company, there are things you just make provisions for. There are things you just keep going. So as we were building the app, just for speed, right?
Yeah.
We were like, support number, whose phone number do you give? And I'm like, no, just put my phone number there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was the craziest moment. For the better part of like a 2-week period, my phone number, my personal phone number, was the support phone number.
You learned the hard way.
Yeah, I learned the hard way. I kept getting calls, over and over and over and over. So yeah, the SMSs didn't stop. Nasty messages. Yeah, I think that's about it. The rest, you just chest it and you move on.
You'll be fine. At the end of the day, you will definitely be fine.
Yeah.
So with building a company that is financing loans and pretty much helping people out, and as well as trying to disperse information to improve the level of financial literacy, I'm sure that you face a lot of challenges, because these two issues are very they're very serious issues, honestly, because when you go online and you see, let's even leave going online. You can just be on your own one day and one number will just send you a message on WhatsApp with somebody's picture.
Obituary.
Not obituary, Joe.
I've seen obituary.
Are you serious? Yeah. That's crazy. I know they do like they do the craziest sort of messaging and clickbaiting, that they will say that, oh, this person is. I've heard some really crazy ones that I don't think I want to go into right now, because it's not stuff that I want to talk about. But let's use the simplest version. So just send you a picture of one person that is not even your friend. You probably just collected their number when you went to buy shoe in one place. The next thing, they will send you a picture that this person is owing the sum of 100,000 naira and he has put you as a guarantor. Tell him to pay unless we will harm you or something very.
I use spiritual means to get our money back.
So like stuff like that, we know it happens. But for SeedFi as a business, what do you think your greatest challenges so far have been dealing with a population that is not known to be compliant for repaying loans?
So well, you're absolutely right. So I think, as I said, one of the ways to, I think really those things are ridiculous, by the way, sending messages and stuff like that to people. But I think one of the ways to do it is the entry point, right? If you can control the number of quality customers that come, in, make sure that, okay, these customers that are coming are going to be quality customers, right? That helps. I think there's one of the proprietary things that we did. I think we launched it, and we actually made it free for everyone.
Okay.
And it's pretty much a mock-up for people to check and know their SEED score, right? SEED score is a pseudonym for a credit score.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can just absolutely check. And what that helps us to do is not take weird or unnecessary risk, right? So we have a credit scoring system, a credit scoring algorithm. And so now you can go on our website, the SeedFi, and see seed score, and you can just go and you would know your credit score, right? And that's what we do. It's proprietary to us.
Okay.
And one of the things is for every user who comes and tries to take a loan, what that means is that we run a credit profile for the person. Almost
Okay.
immediately. If you're not good enough, I think one of the reasons why we do the financial literacy is to look at some of the customers who do not have access to financing, either because they are notoriously bad or they have been blacklisted, right? So you have those conversations with them and ease them through the ways, of improving their credit profiles. Yeah. So again, I would say that we at SeedFi cannot relate, right, to those kind of things. And that's why businesses should work with us, to be honest. This is not a marketing call or something. I'm just saying. You can do better. You can do better with
So you are
SeedFi.
saying that this is the best credit financing solution in Nigeria,
With my full chest.
in Africa.
Let's start with Nigeria.
That's
getting
fair
there.
enough. That's fair
We're
enough.
getting
Yeah,
there.
it takes time. 14 months is
growing.
it's not a long time to claim that, oh, I'm the best in Africa, but best in Nigeria. I think Nigeria has like 200 million people.
Yeah.
So if your product is the best, no matter the category or more.
And guess what? Not a single lie was told.
Exactly.
Because we don't tell lies.
Exactly. We don't tell lies here. This is why honest as they come.
Yeah.
I don't bring liars to this place. We just people that tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Off the top of your head, how do you think people can improve their creditworthiness?
So, I think off the top of my head, I don't think it's something that I need to think so much through. I think first, one of the things we really take for granted is bill payment on time.
Okay.
Right. So first is try to make your payments on time. Right. That shows the kind of character that you have.
Okay.
When you take try as much as possible not to owe creditors. So if you take a loan, you pay your loans on time, right? As at when due. If at all there is a payment or there's an issue that's going to come with repayment, right? You can reach out to your financiers on time, right? And then let them know. And I think one of the most important that people always miss out is having a budget. Personally, having a financial budget goes a very, very, very long way, right? It's probably maybe not directly related, but it's a great step. If you can actually budget for your finances appropriately first, right? That goes in a long way in building a credit profile for you. So, for example, I'm paid because I'm a comrade and we focus on minimum wage. I'm paid 70,000 every month, right? I say I'm paid 70K every month. Have a budget, meals, bills, have a loan of 20K. I think that what most people do is they look at loans in the aftermath as the last thing that you pay for, right? But instead, loans are the first thing you pay for. I think that when you do that, you're actually really good. But I know that there's I just thought to talk about this real quick. There's a very, very interesting mindset in itself when it comes to lending in not just Nigeria, but in Africa. And it goes back to the first conversation the first thing that I mentioned with regards to the shame mindset, right? People feel like for you to borrow, right? It means that you are broke, or it means something is wrong.
Something is wrong,
So we technically borrow because something is wrong. I always use this example, for example, and I say that, this is Nigeria, right? If you want to buy a Toyota Camry, what's the value of a Camry now?
What year?
We're all comrades here now.
What year?
Let's say 2009.
2009, like 7, 8.
So 8 million, right? I always say it's either you have saved up 8 million from the previous year, right? Before you can buy the car. You can go and steal the car. Is another way of getting the car. Right?
Idea.
Yeah, you can go and steal the car. Someone can get the car for you. Or guess what? You save. Again, you wait another 24 months, right?
Yeah.
Again, what's the opportunity cost in that? You'd have to jump bus. Your phone would probably be stolen on the bus. There's like
the bus will spoil on
bus.
the
You
road.
probably get bitten by rain.
Inconvenience.
Someone. Yeah. So the whole inconvenience, right? And that's the great opportunity cost for that. And the big risk that also you take into cognizance is at the end of the 24 months, where your money is now ready to buy the car. The value of the car is probably 12 million.
Devaluation, inflation. Right? Yeah.
Now, that's why you need financing, right? And financing, what that does is you take a loan up front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your assets are paid for. You take, again, for reasonable things. I think, again, back to the question you asked, one of the major reasons why people have bad credit score is that when they eventually do have access to the financing, it's then now diverted, right? So you take a loan for a particular reason, you use it to do something entirely different, and then you are now in a pickle, right? And that's why budget is also very important. So yeah, so just thought to put this out there, in changing the mindsets that
I think people don't really factor that into their minds, because it just seems like a burden to have to pay for something for over such a long period of time. But people do not take into consideration the fact that at least that thing has been done.
Do you say for a long time? Do you say for a long time? So you look at it like savings. At least that's what I do.
Yeah, we look at it like savings because it's something you have to service on a consistent basis, right? But it feels more like an expense. It doesn't feel like savings. Savings, I know that I still my own. But when I'm repaying a loan, it's like an expense. I forget that I bought the car. And just remember that I'm paying the money back.
This is how crime starts. But you see the car on your parking lot, and you use the car every now and then.
I forgot. Somebody cannot forget again. Is it prohibited to forget?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you have a point there.
This is really how people think about servicing loans. It feels like an expense. They forget that I borrowed this money to buy this car. I now have this car, and I have to repay this loan.
That's why your character is very important. And when we do a credit evaluation, we would be able to tell.
So in general, do you think that there are things that people should not be taking loans for?
Yes.
Like?
Betting.
My money will multiply. You say I should not take loans. Won't you be happy to have me repay that loan fast?
So, personally, this is my personal, I think I have, a lot of people might not agree with me, but I'm anti-betting. I'm actually anti-gambling. I don't think it's ethical. So it goes against my own personal beliefs.
Yeah. What I personally think that people should not borrow for is party.
Like what type of party? Like
wedding,
or
burial. I feel like it's so wild that something that is so flimsy is a reason you will borrow.
Oddly.
Yeah.
Maybe. Again, I'm not saying it is.
Yeah.
Maybe I can understand the logic behind weddings. But burial, no way. I'll never see it.
The wedding one, I feel like burial is even understandable. Burial is like, it's a final thing.
Why are we talking about burials, for God's sake?
We've gotten to this point, so let's just face the conversation.
Okay.
I feel like burial is I don't still understand it. I wouldn't approve. I wouldn't borrow to bury anybody. But if somebody explained their situation to me very, 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 very in depth with the tiniest, most significant and even insignificant details, maybe I may reason with their decision to borrow to bury their loved one. But you're marrying somebody. I did not send you. You chose this life.
Oh my goodness.
You chose to marry. It's such a choice. Dying is it so happens.
You see the interesting thing. I think so. I think I like this. Where this going? As maybe as informal as it goes,
Yeah.
it's quite interesting. And so it gives a lot of perspectives to like cultural upbringing and stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, or where I'm from
Yeah.
culturally, like literally someone goes today,
Yeah.
we just dig a hole and
Just
it's
dig the
gone.
hole and bury the
Or tomorrow,
person. Yeah.
you get there's really no need to boil rice, buy
Yeah.
chicken, or throw a
It's a
party over it.
loss.
Do you
Yeah, it's a
understand? It's a
loss.
loss. I think maybe that's where, again, you look at perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Weddings, on the other hand, maybe someone says, you know what, I have this money, or I earn 2, 3, 4, 5 million a month, right? I just need to make these vendor payments, right?
Okay.
But then of maybe say this X amount, right?
Yeah.
But I just need it. I need to make the payment,
Yeah.
right? So that when payday comes at the end of the day or at the end
Yeah.
of the month,
You
right?
repay.
And then I repay. I think I understand that part.
Mm.
But I think where I completely agree with you is like you taking on ridiculous. I don't particularly think that anybody would borrow you money when you go, Samaila, come and borrow me 20 million or borrow me
I want to
25
do
million. I'm like,
wedding.
what do you want to do? And then the answer is, I want to
I
marry.
want to do wedding. So okay, fine. If we now give you the 20 million and you do your wedding finish,
What happens next?
do you get what's the next step?
Well,
Will you come and meet me that I should give you what you guys will eat the next day? I feel like it's not necessary. It's something that you, like I said, marriage is a choice. It's not like a burial. You don't plan for people to die in most cases.
we are talking too much about this.
Why are you so giddy about?
Ah,
Just relax. Don't worry. Nobody is dying. But like we're trying to use it to educate people.
absolutely.
Yes, now it's stuff like this that is relatable that people should understand when it comes to borrowing, lending.
Yeah.
So you don't plan certain things, death being one of those things, right? So it can come at a time where you are struggling. But for a marriage, you are aware that you are going to get married. It's not a surprise.
Absolutely.
So even this instance where you are painting that, you just want to, like, you are factoring it into maybe your next month's salary. I don't think it's enough.
True.
Because you've known months ahead that you are going to marry. You've seen, do you know how many ceremonies they do because of marriage? And you did not know that you don't have the money.
I lost count.
You will first, okay, you guys will be dating first.
So what I ask is, honestly, why do people do these multiple ceremonies?
Honestly, some of these things just got added aside.
Let me not sound
as
like
I
a
started
hypocrite.
growing.
I did a lot of them too. But
But you
again,
don't understand why.
yeah, at the end I start asking myself why. Do not borrow too much.
Don't.
Like, look at the camera and say,
Do not borrow to marry. We've come to this point where we just want Samaila to give us a brief rundown of how you can properly access a loan, a facility that can help you. So, Samaila, can you run us through how SeedFi works? What's the typical process to applying for a loan and getting the loan and repayment and all of that?
Quite easy actually. So just go on Play Store or your App Store, download the SeedFi application, sign up. I think the sign up process is completely seamless and easy. Apply for a loan if you're eligible. You are definitely going to get disbursement in 5 minutes or less. My co-founder always dragged me for using the word 5 minutes, but most times it happens in 2.
Interesting.
Yeah. I always just make an allowance for 3 minutes extra. But yeah. So yeah, it happens as quickly as that. There are obviously times where customers are also uneligible for like a bunch of reasons, right? And that's why initially I mentioned that we also do financial literacy and stuff, and like credit advisory services also. And so there are times where customers are not eligible for some of the amount. Our teams definitely would reach out and then also guide you. If chances are you made an error in the application, or there's some sort of information that would need more clarity on, or you have a bad credit report somewhere that we need to just speak to you to have more color. But again, a simple, seamless process happens in less than 5 minutes.
Mm.
That's as easy as it's just download the app. It's quite easy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think we've had an extensive discussion on borrowing, lending, financial literacy. And as usual, we're always going to leave contact information of Samaila as well as SeedFi so that you can get further information about how to develop yourself to be more credit worthy, develop yourself to be more financially literate, and also have access to loan facility. Always remember to be smart, be very smart. Really, that's the best word I can use to describe it. Be very smart when it comes to lending money, when it comes to borrowing money. It's a commitment, and you have to see it to the end. You don't have the option of defaulting because it's going to go on your record, and it's going to prevent you from even accessing more opportunities, especially at a time where you desperately need it. So it's important, absolutely important, to make sure that you commit to repaying loans that you take and just being honest, giving an honest living, just like us, honest people. Thank you so much, Samaila. This was absolutely interesting and insightful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Favor, and the whole team for having me.
Thank you so much, Samaila. Thank you. We're so happy that you came through today, and we can't wait for our next episode as usual. But till then, see you next time. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing week. Don't forget to follow, like, share, subscribe across all our platforms. See you in our next one. Bye.